Do-wop, 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 do-wop. The lamppost throws a golden glow across the street where roses grow. I stand beneath your window frame and softly whisper out your name. The neighborhood is fast asleep. The only sound my heart can keep is beating like a bass drum low for the boy I love but barely know. I brought no flowers, brought no ring, just a trembling voice that wants to sing a melody I wrote last night underneath the pale moonlight. Moonlit serenade, hear my song. I've been waiting for you all night long. The stars are leaning in to hear every word I wish you near. Moonlit serenade, soft and true. Every single note is just for you. If the morning takes this all away, at least the moon heard what I had to say. Your curtain moves, a shadow bends. My nervous heart pretends that maybe you can hear me now. That maybe love will show me how to say the things I've locked inside behind my awkward teenage pride. A girl with nothing but a tune, singing to a silver moon. I've got no car, I've got no fame, just a girl who knows your name, and a feeling deep as any sea that you were always meant for me. Moonlit serenade, hear my song. I've been waiting for you all night long. The stars are leaning in to hear every word I wish you near. Moonlit serenade, soft and true. Every single note is just for you. If the morning takes this all away, at least the moon heard what I had to say. The fellas say I'm wasting time, that a boy like you won't pay me mind, but they don't see the way you smiled when I held the door that one last while. They don't know about the Tuesday rain when we shared an umbrella down the lane. You laughed and I forgot my name, and nothing's ever been the same. The clock strikes 2, the air is still. A whippoorwill be on the hill. I sing a little softer now. My voice is tired but won't bow down. And just before I turn to leave, I see your hand pull back the sleeve of curtain lace, and there you stand, a moonlit boy, a whispered plan. You press your fingers to the glass, a tiny moment built to last. You mouth the words, one more, don't stop, and my heart climbs right back to the top. Serenade, hear my song. I've been waiting for you all night long. The stars are leaning in to hear every word I wish you near. Moonlit serenade, soft and true. Every single We stole a Sunday from the week, packed a basket, didn't speak, just drove until the highway turned into a road the trees had earned. The radio was losing sound, but we were already found in the kind of quiet afternoon that ends a little bit too soon. No church bells told us where to go, no calendar, no to-do, no show, just a blanket on the riverside and the feeling we had nothing left to hide. Borrowed Sunday, take your time, the world won't miss us for a while. Let the Monday people run. We're lying underneath the sun. Borrowed Sunday, stay right here, wrap us up and disappear into the blue and lazy sky, where even clocks forget to try, where even clocks forget to try. You skipped a stone across the creek, it bounced 3 times before the peak. I tried to beat you, threw it wide, it sank like all my foolish pride. You laughed and handed me another, flat and round like no other. Said it's all about the wrist and showed me what I'd always miss. No deadlines breathing down our necks, no telephones, no rain checks, just the dragonflies above the stream and the sound of living in a dream. Borrowed Sunday, take your time, the world won't miss us for a while. Let the Monday people run. We're lying underneath the sun. Borrowed Sunday, stay right here, wrap us up and disappear into the blue and lazy sky, where even clocks forget to try, where even clocks forget to try. The sandwiches were slightly crushed, the lemonade was warm but hushed with something sweet I can't describe, like drinking sunshine from inside. You leaned against the willow trunk and said, I think the world has shrunk to just this spot, this afternoon, this riverbank, this spoon, this tune. The sun began its lazy bow behind the hill, and anyhow we didn't move, we didn't pack, we let the sky turn indigo black. The fireflies came one by one like tiny children of the sun, and in the dark your hand found mine, a borrowed Sunday, right on time. No reason left to head on back, no highway calling from the track, just the chorus of the frogs at night and the feeling that we got it right. Borrowed Sunday, take your time, the world won't miss us for a while. Let the Monday people run. We're lying underneath the sun. Borrowed Sunday, stay right here, wrap us up and disappear into the blue and lazy sky, where even clocks forget to try, where even clocks forget to try, where even clocks forget. Borrowed Sunday, borrowed Sunday. We were standing by the fountain in the square on Maple Street. You were holding cotton candy, I was melting in the heat. You said, make a wish and throw one. So I dug inside my coat, found a penny from last autumn, and I held it like a note. I didn't wish for riches, I didn't wish for fame. I closed my eyes and whispered something closer to your name. Your lovely name. The water caught the copper with a tiny little splash, and somewhere in the universe a door began to crack. Pennies in the fountain, wishes in the deep, promises we're making that the water gets to keep. Pennies in the fountain, sinking out of sight, but the dreams they carry with them rise into the night. Rise into the night. You threw yours with both hands steady, like a girl who knows her mind. I asked you what you wished for, you said, nice try, that's only mine. The pigeons gathered around our feet, the ice cream truck rolled by. Two ordinary people with an extraordinary sky. You didn't wish for diamonds, you didn't wish for pearls. You told me years later you just wished to stay my girl. The water kept your secret underneath the mossy stone, and all those years it guarded it until you brought it home. Pennies in the fountain, wishes in the deep, promises we're making that the water gets to keep. Pennies in the fountain, sinking out of sight, but the dreams they carry with them rise into the night. We went back every summer, 52 and 53. 54, the fountain broke, but we still threw them in the street. 55, you wore my ring. 56, you wore my name. And every single penny thrown was never thrown in vain. Now the fountain's been repainted, and the square has got a shop. But on Sunday after church, we still make our little stop. Your hands are not as steady, and my pocket's not as full, but the wishes keep on flying like they did when life was new. I don't need to wish for more, I've got everything in store. A lifetime built on copper dreams, and nothing's quite the way it seems, because a penny's just a penny till you throw it with your heart, and a fountain's just a fountain till two lovers play their part. Pennies in the fountain, wishes in the deep, promises we're making that the water gets to keep. Pennies in the fountain, sinking out of sight, but the dreams they carry with them rise into the night. Rise into the night. Rise into the night. Pennies in the fountain, make a wish, my darling. wish tonight. The train is leaving platform 9. Your suitcase heavy, so is mine. You hold my collar, fix my tie, and try your best to keep it dry. The whistle blows, the engines groan. 100 people heading home, but all I see is you right here. The bravest boy I know in tears. It's only miles, it's only time, it's only distance, not goodbye. The moon you see is the moon I see, so look up when you're missing me. Darling, don't you cry, I'll be back before July. The summer wind will bring me home, you'll never have to be alone. Darling, dry your eyes, love don't care about the skies, whether gray or whether blue. Every cloud will lead to you. Every cloud will lead to you. I'll write you every single week, I'll number every page and sheet, so if the postman drops them wrong, you'll read our story all along. I'll tell you how the city sounds, the taxi cabs, the underground, but mostly how the busy streets can't fill the space of your heartbeat. It's only buildings, it's only rain, it's only strangers on a train. The stars you count are the stars I count, so wish on them when you're in doubt. Darling, don't you cry, I'll be back before July. The summer wind will bring me home, you'll never have to be alone. Darling, dry your eyes, love don't care about the skies, whether gray or whether blue. Every cloud will lead to you. Every cloud will lead to you. Remember when we were just 16, sharing malts at the soda machine? You said, promise me you'll never go. I said, baby, don't you know, even if I cross the sea, there's a part of me that'll always be standing right beside your door, the girl who loved you to the core. The train begins to slowly move, my hand still reaching out for you. Your fingers slip like sand through mine, but hold the feeling, frozen time. I press my forehead to the glass and watch the platform fading fast. Your shadow long, your waving hand, the tallest boy, the smallest stand. It's only tracks, it's only Mama tied a ribbon in my hair, said go on now, the world is fair. I skipped along the morning road, past the creek and the willows low. My shoes were white, my socks were clean. I was barely just 13. The trees were throwing golden coins, and I was rich in what the sun enjoys. I didn't know what waited there beyond the schoolyard, past the square. I only knew the ribbon flew behind me like a trail of blue, and every step I took was light, like walking on a kite in flight. The morning had no weight at all, just a girl before the fall. Silk ribbons in the wind, dancing where the day begins, chasing every butterfly with an unrelenting why. Silk ribbons in the wind, back before we learned to sin, when the world was just a yard and love was just a greeting card. Love was just a greeting card. The boy next door had freckled cheeks. We hadn't spoken yet in weeks, but Tuesday he was at the fence, holding something that made no sense. A dandelion half blown away. He said, I picked this yesterday, but it wouldn't wait for you, so I'm giving you the wish that's due. I took it like a sacred thing, a half-ball flower with a missing ring, and blew the last remaining puff into the sky like diamond dust. He smiled and ran the other way, too shy to hear what I would say, but I whispered to the empty lane, I'll keep that wish inside the rain. Silk ribbons in the wind, dancing where the day begins, chasing every butterfly with an unrelenting why. Silk ribbons in the wind, back before we learned to sin, when the world was just a yard and love was just a greeting card. Love was just a greeting card. Where did the ribbons go? When did the wind begin to blow? A different kind of cold that made the silk too stiff to hold. I grew out of my Sunday best. I traded wonder for the rest of what they said a woman needs: a ring, a house, a bag of seeds. But late at night I feel the pull of something thin and beautiful, a flicker at the back of me. The girl I was at barely 3, with ribbons trailing in the yard, before the world became so hard. This morning I untied my braid and let the gray fall unafraid. I found a ribbon in the drawer, the same old blue from years before. I tied it loosely, let it hang, and something in my ribcage sang a melody from long ago, when girls could run and ribbons flow. I walked outside without my phone, just my shadow and my bones. The creek is smaller than I thought. The willow tree has almost caught the ground with all its weeping arms, but underneath its tired charm, the girl is skipping, I can see, and that girl is still a part of me. Silk ribbons in the wind, dancing where the day begins, chasing every butterfly with an unrelenting why. Silk ribbons in the wind, back before we learned to sin, when the world was just a yard and love was just a greeting card. Love was just a greeting card. beside my bed smelled like cinnamon and butter, warm and freshly spread. No alarm to answer, no umbrella by the door, just the morning stretching out across the kitchen floor. Stay a while, Sunday, don't you rush away. I've been waiting all week long for a day like today. Pour another cup and let the hours disappear. The only thing I'm chasing is the feeling right here. Newspaper I'll never read is folded by the jam. Toast is getting cold, but honestly I just don't mind. Record skipping on the last line of a silly tune, singing it again because it ends a beat too soon. Stay a while, Sunday, don't you rush away. I've been waiting all week long for a day like today. Pour another cup and let the hours disappear. The only thing I'm chasing is the feeling right here. I've been waiting all week long for a today. Pour another cup and let the hours disappear. The only thing I'm chasing is the feeling right here. The summer ended on a bridge between the valley and the ridge. You wore your sandals, I wore mine. We watched the sun begin to sign its name across the evening air in colors I could never wear. A tangerine that bled to rose, the kind of sky that heaven chose. We didn't take a photograph, we didn't need to, we just laughed and let our eyes do all the keeping while the rest of the world was sleeping. Some moments don't belong in frames, they live inside like middle names. You carry them but rarely say until you need them on a rainy day. Tangerine sky, hold the night, don't let the darkness take the light. I want to stay inside this glow where everything is soft and slow. Tangerine sky, paint my face with every shade of time and place before the blue comes closing in. Let me live this color once again. Let me live this color once again. You pointed where the birds had gone, a line of black against the dawn. They move like music music note by note, a symphony without a coat. I said they're heading somewhere warm, you said they're running from a storm. We both were right, we both were wrong. That's how it goes inside our song. We didn't plan this evening out, we didn't know what it's about. We just showed up with empty hands and let the sky make all the plans. Some sunsets don't need a reason, they arrive between the seasons. When your guard is soft and low and your heart has room to grow. Tangerine sky, hold the night, don't let the darkness take the light. I want to stay inside this glow where everything is soft and slow. Tangerine sky, paint my face with every shade of time and place before the blue comes closing in. Let me live this color once again. Let me live this color once again. I've seen 100 sunsets since, through kitchen glass and backyard fence, from airplane windows, hotel floors, from hospital and grocery stores. But none of them could ever match that tangerine we didn't catch. We didn't hold, we didn't frame, we just stood there, whispering its name. Now every time the sky turns sweet, I pull the car to the nearest street and sit there with the engine off, my coffee cold, my edges soft. I let the orange wash my skin and feel you standing next to me again. Your sandals and your crooked grin, the girl I was, the world we're in. I don't need to chase the sun, I don't need to race and run. I just need a bridge to stand and a tangerine to hold my hand. Some colors are a kind of home, a place you carry when you roam. And every time the daylight bends, I find you there before it ends. Tangerine sky, hold the night, don't let the darkness take the light. I want to stay inside this glow where everything is soft and slow. Tangerine sky, paint my face with every shade of time and place before the blue comes closing in. Let me live this color once again. Let me live this color once again. Let me live this color. Tangerine sky, tangerine sky. One more time, one more sky. The carousel is turning slow, with painted horses row by row. The children wave, the mothers smile, the organ plays a crooked mile. I'm sitting on the bench alone, with caramel and cracker Joan, watching all the colors spin, remembering where I've been. Round and round the horses fly, chasing tails across the sky, never catching, never still, climbing up the same old hill. Just like the years that come and go, fast in summer, winter slow, round and round without a sound. What goes up must come back. Tomorrow hasn't yet been told. Carousel of time, spinning on a silver dime. Hold the reins and close your eyes. The ride is short but worth the price. Oh, the ride is worth the price. My father held me on the black, the tallest horse along the track. He said, don't worry, hold on tight. The world looks better from this height. I gripped the pole with tiny hands and felt like kings of foreign lands. The music swelled, the crowd would cheer, and fear was just a souvenir. Round and round my father's voice echoes like a distant choice. To be brave or to be small, to ride the horse or miss the ball. Just like the days that slip away between the work and end of play. Round and round the shadows lean, painting things we should have seen. Carousel of time, every turn a nursery rhyme. Yesterday is painted gold. Tomorrow hasn't yet been told. But worth the price. Oh, the ride is worth the price. I brought my daughter here last spring. She chose the white horse with the ring. She screamed with joy and held the mane, and I became my father again, standing by the wooden gate, watching her accelerate into the blur of light and sound, going up and coming down. Plays, the horses turn, and every generation learns. The paint is chipping on the bay. The organ skips on B and A. The ticket booth has lost a hinge. The awning has a coffee tinge. Can dim the glow of children laughing faces slow with wonder, sugar, dizzy spells, and stories only carousels can tell beneath the setting sun, when all the rides but this are done. The last one standing, last one bright, a spinning lantern in the night. Tomorrow hasn't yet been told. Carousel of time, spinning on a silver dime. Hold the reins and close your eyes. The ride is short but worth the price. Oh, the ride is worth the price. Short, but worth the price. Carousel of time. One more ride, one more ride. He walked in wearing velvet black, the kind of boy you don't look back. You look and look until he's gone, and even then you keep looking on. The jukebox played a lazy tune, the neon blinked a crescent moon. He ordered something I can't recall, I just remember standing small. The rain was tapping on the door, like it was asking me for more. More courage, more of something real, more than just the way I feel. So I straightened up my cotton dress, hoping that I looked my best, and crossed the room like crossing fate, hoping I was not too late. Velvet and rain, the night he gave my heart a name, a stranger smile, a borrowed flame, and nothing was ever quite the same. Velvet and rain, dancing slow without a frame, two silhouettes against the glass, a beautiful thing that couldn't last. But Lord, I'm glad I asked. He said his name was Julian, the sweetest sound since time began. Not heard, I said, but seen, because his name looked like a round of applause. He laughed and stirred his drink with grace, a tiny storm inside a vase. I told him mine, he said, I know, I've seen you here 3 weeks ago. My knees went soft, my tongue went dry, a young girl learning how to fly. He pulled a chair and said, sit down, you look like you might hit the ground. So I sat beside my velvet dream inside the strangest, sweetest scene, and let the rain compose the score for everything I'd waited for. Velvet and rain, the night he gave my heart a name, a stranger smile, a borrowed flame, and nothing was ever quite the same. Velvet and rain, dancing slow without a frame, two silhouettes against the glass, a beautiful thing that couldn't last. But Lord, I'm glad I asked. We danced between the tables small, his boots clicking down the hall. The bartender turned the music low and let the evening take it slow. I rested my head against his chest. He held my breath and held the rest of everything I'd been before, and left it lying on the floor. The rain stopped sometime after 3. He buttoned up and looked at me, said this was something, wasn't it? I nodded like a candle lit. He wrote his number on a match, a tiny bridge, a tiny catch. I watched him walk into the night, his velvet swallowed by the light. I never called, he never wrote, we lived inside that single note, a perfect evening, sealed and done, like a photograph of the setting sun. Some things are better left that way. A single night, a single day, no sequel, no unraveling, just velvet rain and There's a telephone on the wall with a cord that's 10 feet tall. It hangs beside the kitchen door where Mama mopped the checkered floor. It used to ring at 8:30 when Daddy called to say he's late, and Moma'd lean against the frame and laugh before she'd say his name. The dial is heavy in my hand, a rotary moon of numbers planned, each click a tiny little prayer, spinning through the evening air. I used to watch her twist the cord around her finger like a cord, a woman wrapped in someone's voice, as if she never had a choice. Telephone on the wall, do you remember all the whispers and the late goodbyes, the arguments and the alibis? Telephone on the wall, you heard us rise and fall, every secret, every plea, every darling, come home to me. Every darling, come home to me. My sister called from Tennessee the summer she turned 23. Said I met someone at the lake, he rows a boat for heaven's sake. Mama covered up the phone and told me go on, leave us alone. But I pressed my ear against the door and heard them giggling on the floor. That telephone heard everything, the way my sister's voice would sing when she described his crooked teeth and how he'd kiss the underneath of her wrist like she was made of something finer than brocade. And Mama saying, bring him home, I'll make the roast, just bring him home. Telephone on the wall, do you remember all the whispers and the late goodbyes, the arguments and the alibis? Telephone on the wall, you heard us rise and fall, every secret, every plea, every darling, come home to me. Every darling, come home to me. Then came the call that changed the air. November 3rd, I remember where I stood beside the kitchen sink, the water running, I couldn't think. Mama's hand was on the receiver, her knuckles white, a true believer that if she held it long enough, the words inside would not be rough. But the doctor's voice was calm and clean, the kindest cruelty I've ever seen. And Mama slid against the wall, still holding on to the telephone's call, as if the cord could pull him back from wherever hearts go when they crack. The telephone hasn't rung in years, it's yellowed now like dried up tears. The cord is tangled, stiff and curled, a relic from a rotary world. But I can't take it off the hook, I can't replace it with a book or a painting or a modern thing, because it still holds everything. Sometimes at night I lift the phone and press it to my ear alone. There's no dial tone, there's no sound, just the echo of the lost and found. And if I hold my breath just right and close my eyes against the light, I hear them all, the ones who called, the living ghosts inside the wall. Telephone on the wall, do you remember all the whispers and the late every plea, every darling, come home to me. Every darling, come home to me. Come home to me. Telephone on the wall, still hanging on, still hanging on. Held me like I'd break in two, like something borrowed, something new. His hands were rough from factory lines, but gentle as the summer vines. He'd cup my face and tilt my chin and say, tell me where you've been inside that busy mind of yours, behind those eyes, behind those doors. I never told him everything. I kept a room, I kept a ring of silence wrapped around my chest, a fragile place I wouldn't let him rest. Not because I didn't trust, but because I knew I must protect the thing that breaks the most, part of me that loves the close. Porcelain heart, handle with care. Cracks don't show until you stare. Hold it softly, hold it right. Don't put it down too hard at night. Porcelain heart made to shine, painted delicate by design. Beautiful but paper thin. Careful how you love me in. Careful how you love me in. He brought me daisies, never roses. Said roses are for striking poses. Daisies are for Tuesday mornings. Coffee spills and no good warnings. He'd leave them in a paper cup beside my keys before I'd get up. A tiny forest on the shelf. His way of saying be yourself. I never told him how it stings when someone loves the little things, because the little things are where I hide the broken pieces I keep inside. Not because he'd walk away, but because he'd wanna stay. And staying means you'll see the cracks, the glue, the tape, the wax, the gaps. Porcelain heart, handle with care. Cracks don't show until you stare. Hold it softly, hold it right. Don't put it down too hard at night. Porcelain heart made to shine, painted delicate by design. Beautiful but paper thin. Careful how you love me in. Careful how you love me in. My mother had one on the shelf, a china cup she kept herself. She'd never drink from it. She'd say some things are better on display. I thought she meant to keep it safe, but now I think she meant to wait for someone brave enough to hold a fragile thing and not go cold. And maybe that's what he was doing. All that patience, all that wooing, not trying to fix what wasn't right, but learning how to hold the light of something thin and something true. A porcelain heart that beats for you. Last winter when the furnace broke, he wrapped me in his father's coat. I shivered and he held me near and whispered something in my ear. I know you think you're made of glass, that every good thing cannot last. But darling, I've got steady hands, and I've got nothing else but plans to hold you gently every day, in every ordinary way. Not just when the music swells, but when the silence hurts as well. That night I told him everything, the room, the ring, the hidden string. He didn't flinch, he didn't run. He said, I know, I've always known. That's why I hold you like I do. Not because you'll break in two, but because you're worth the care. Every crack and every prayer. Porcelain heart, handle with care. Cracks don't show until you stare. Hold it softly, hold it right. Don't put it down too hard at night. Porcelain heart, made to shine, painted delicate by design. Beautiful but paper thin. Careful how you love me in. Careful how you love me in. Porcelain heart, he held me like I'd never break, and so I didn't. He left a gardenia on the nightstand, sometime between the dark and dawn. I woke to find its petals breathing like a tiny moon had just been born. The room was still, the curtains heavy. The city hummed its morning hymn, but all I heard was that small flower whispering that it came from him. He never said the words out loud. He wasn't built for talking proud. He spoke in gestures, spoke in deeds, in gardenias and mustard seeds. A man who'd fix the cabinet hinge before you'd even start to cringe. Who'd know the light bulb needed changing by the way your eyes were ranging. Gardenia on the nightstand, worth more than a diamond band. No card attached, no ribbon tied, just a flower standing by my side. Gardenia on the nightstand, placed there by a quiet hand. The kind of love that doesn't shout, but you never have to wonder about. You never have to wonder about. I asked him once, where do you find them at this hour? Who's even open? He smiled and buttoned up his collar and left the question softly broken. I followed him one Tuesday morning through the fog and past the baker. He walked 6 blocks to the greenhouse window where an old woman was the maker. She wrapped them in a piece of news, the Tuesday paper. Last week's blues, he'd hand her coins from his left pocket, the one beside his father's locket, and carry it like holy water through the streets and through the corridor, up the stairs without a sound. A man who loved without a noun. Gardenia on the nightstand, worth more than a diamond band. No card attached, no ribbon tied, just a flower standing by my side. Gardenia on the nightstand, placed there by a quiet hand. The kind of love that doesn't shout, but you never have to wonder about. You never have to wonder about. The years went on, the gardenias came, through blizzards, birthdays, joy and pain. The morning after our first fight, a gardenia in the pale moonlight. The morning after we lost the baby, a gardenia in his hand, saying maybe we'll be alright, we'll find our way. No words, just petals on a tray. The morning after 30 years, a gardenia floating in my tears, because I knew before the call that the greenhouse woman closed last fall, and the only hands that picked that bloom were shaking in a hospital room. The nightstand's empty now. At dawn, the indentation of the vase is drawn into the wood like a fossil ring, a permanent and quiet thing. I bought a gardenia yesterday from a girl at the corner display, and set it where he always would, on the left side, like he understood. The petals opened overnight and filled the room with something bright, a scent that travels through the years, past every wall and past the tears. And for a moment I could swear I heard his footsteps on the stair, the careful creak he used to make when he was trying not to wake. Gardenia on the nightstand, worth more than a diamond band. No card attached, no ribbon tied, just a flower standing by my side. Gardenia on the nightstand, placed there by a quiet hand. The kind of love that doesn't shout, but you never have to wonder about. You never have to wonder about. You never have to wonder about. Gardenia on the nightstand, and I can still feel him around. A postcard came without a stamp from somewhere past the highway ramp. The picture showed a little town with shutters green and bridges brown. No name was written, no address, just 7 words in cursive dress. I saw this place and thought of you in faded ink of ocean blue. I turned it over, held it close, like smelling someone else's ghost. The handwriting I didn't know, but something in the afterglow of how the letters lean to write, like someone writing late at night. tired eyes and honest hands made me feel like someone understands. Postcard from nowhere sent by someone I can't find. A stranger's kindness in the air, a little grace for a troubled mind. Postcard from nowhere, proof that beauty still exists. In a world of heavy weather, someone thought that I'd be missed. Someone thought that I'd be missed. I pinned it to the kitchen wall, between the calendar and the hall. It sat beside the grocery list, a little traveler, a little twist. My daughter asked me, who's it from? I said, I think it's from someone who needed just as much as me a reason to believe in free. Maybe she was on a train, running from her own campaign of doing everything just right, of sleeping through another night, and saw this town from window glass and thought this moment cannot pass without a witness, without a word. So she wrote to someone she'd never heard. Postcard from nowhere, sent by someone I can't find. A stranger's kindness in the air, a little grace for a troubled mind. Postcard from nowhere, proof that beauty still exists. In a world of heavy weather, someone thought that I'd be missed. Someone thought that I'd be missed. I started writing back that spring, to no one and to everything. I'd buy a postcard every week from the drugstore on the creek, and write a line to someone new, a stranger in a different view. The magnolias bloom today, I thought you'd wanna know, okay. I'd leave them in the library books, in jacket pockets, window nooks, on benches where the pigeons sit. A little match, a little lit, a chain of tiny paper hellos, following wherever kindness goes. And maybe one of them arrived to someone barely half alive, who needed just that single line to feel the world was still divine. This morning came another card from somewhere south, the postmark scarred. The picture showed a lighthouse white against a bruised and purple night, and on the back in pencil thin, someone wrote with a crooked grin. I know because the letters danced, your magnolia card I found by chance inside a book on how to grieve. And darling, it made me believe that even in the darkest shelf, there's someone thinking of someone else. I held the card against my chest, and for a moment I confessed to the empty kitchen and the dawn that loneliness is almost gone. When someone out there takes the time to send a postcard, drop a line, a little bridge across the void, a human thing that can't be destroyed. Postcard from nowhere, sent by someone I can't find. A stranger's kindness in the air, a little grace for a troubled mind. Postcard from nowhere, proof that beauty still exists. In a world of heavy weather, someone thought that I'd be The screen door slams behind my heels. The evening knows exactly how it feels to hold the last remaining light between the fireflies and the night. The porch is creaking out of tune beneath the buttermilk colored moon, surrounding yellow, soft and low, like someone hung it just for show. Grandpa used to call it that. Buttermilk, he'd tip his hat and rock his chair another inch toward the edge without a flinch. He'd say that moon has got a soul. It's been around since rock and roll was just a fiddle and a dream, and buttermilk was still the cream. Buttermilk moon, pour me down a glass of light upon this town. Wash the worry off my face and slow this world to a gentler pace. Buttermilk moon, thick and sweet, dripping on the summer wheat. Turn the ordinary bright. Be my lantern for tonight. Be my lantern for tonight. The cows are standing in the field like paintings that have never peeled, their shadows stretching long and lean. The quietest audience I've seen. A barn owl hoots from the cedar post, a sound that matters to me the most, because it means the day is done and I have answered to no one. Grandma'd bring the mason jars filled with tea and tiny stars of sugar floating near the top, a sweetness that would never stop. She'd set them on the railing's edge beside the roses and the hedge and say, the moon is baking bread. Can you smell it overhead? Buttermilk moon, pour me down a glass of light upon this town. Wash the worry off my face and slow this world to a gentler pace. Buttermilk moon, thick and sweet, dripping on the summer wheat. Turn the ordinary bright. Be my lantern for tonight. Be my lantern for tonight. I left this porch when I was young. Thought the city had a better song. Thought the neon knew my name. Thought the skyline played a bigger game. But every window that I faced reflected back this very place. This creaking wood, this crooked step, this buttermilk I never left. The city moon was wide and thin, like a dime somebody tossed to win. But it never had the warmth I knew of yellow light on morning dew. So I came back with empty hands and fuller heart than city plans, and sat right here where Grandpa sat and tipped the sky an invisible hat. My daughter's sleeping in the room where I once counted every bloom of wallpaper roses, pink and frayed. The same old bed where I once prayed for bigger things and wider skies, for someone else's lullabies. But now I pray for only this, a buttermilk moon and a good night kiss. The rocking chair still knows my weight. It doesn't judge me if I'm late. recipe she left to me, not written down, just in my hands, the way a woman understands. Buttermilk moon, pour me down a glass of light upon this town. Wash the worry off my face and slow this world to a gentler pace. Buttermilk moon, thick and sweet, dripping on the summer wheat. Turn the ordinary bright, be my lantern for tonight. Be my lantern for tonight. Be my lantern. Buttermilk moon, and the cream is in the air. There are glass bottles on the porch, lined up like a choir on a torch, green and brown and cloudy blue, each one holding a different view. Some were soda, some were wine, some were medicine for a time when the body needed more than what the garden had in store. Mama never threw them out, said a bottle's got a mouth, and if you hold it to the light, it'll tell you something right about the hands that held it first, about the thirst before the thirst, about the lips that touched the rim before the world got dark and dim. Glass bottles on the porch, catching every ray and torch of sunlight passing through their skin, like stained glass chapels made of tin. Glass bottles on the porch, singing on the southern scorch, a melody of what was poured and what was saved and what was stored, and what was saved and what was stored. The green one came from Uncle Bill, who drove his truck from Jacksonville with peaches, pecans, and a jug of something strong inside a hug. He'd sit on the steps and tell his tales of alligators, storms, and sails, and when the jug was finally done, he'd say, the bottle keeps the fun. Mom'd wash it at the sink, hold it up and let us think about the color, about the shade, about the journey, the escape. She'd say every bottle is a trip, every crack a sailor's ship, every bubble caught inside is someone's laugh that never died. Glass bottles on the porch, catching every ray and torch of sunlight passing through their skin, like stained glass chapels made of tin. Glass bottles on the porch, singing on the southern scorch, a melody of what was poured and what was saved and what was stored, and what was saved and what was stored. There's one she never let us touch, a tiny thing that meant too much, a perfume bottle almost spent, with a label slightly bent. It said Parisian Spring 1952, the year that Daddy first loved you. He bought it at the airport gate. Coming home 3 hours late, she kept one drop inside the glass, a single breath that wouldn't pass. And every Sunday after church, she'd hold it on the porch's perch and close her eyes and breathe them in, a tiny ghost of where they'd been. Now the porch is mine to keep, the bottles guard me while I sleep. They clink when autumn starts to blow, like wind chimes only we would know. I've added some throughout the years, a honey jar that held my tears the night my daughter moved away, a pickle jar from yesterday. Each one has a fingerprint of someone loved, of someone's stint upon this earth, this creaking floor, this porch that always asks for more, more stories, more of sitting still, more evenings on the windowsill, more bottles lined against the rail, each one an unfinished tale. Glass bottles on the porch, catching every ray and torch of sunlight passing through their skin, like stained glass chapels made of tin. Glass bottles on the porch, singing on the southern scorch, a melody of what was poured and what was saved and what was stored. What was saved and what was stored. Glass bottles on the porch, glass bottles on the porch, and everyone you've loved is here. The harbor sleeps beneath the fog, a lighthouse blinks its monologue. The boats are rocking side to side like cradles on a silver tide. I sit upon the wooden pier with nothing but the night to hear. The water whispers lullabies to sailors underneath the skies. My grandfather would bring me here when I was barely 5, my dear. He'd point beyond the buoy and say, that's where your grandmother sailed away. Not gone, just traveling the blue. The ocean keeps the ones we knew, and every wave that finds the shore is just her knocking on the door. Harbor lights and lullabies singing to the sailors' eyes. Come back home across the foam, the lanterns lit, you're not alone. Harbor lights and lullabies rocking underneath the skies. Every ship will find its way to the arms of the bay, to the arms of the bay. mistakes and small regrets. Their wives are waiting up the hill with soup that's warm and window still. The children sleeping 2 by 2 beneath the quilt of navy blue, dreaming of their father's hands that smell of rope and distant lands. My mother used to stand right here and count the mast from far to near. She'd whisper numbers like a prayer. 1, 2, 3, your father's there. And when the 4th one caught the light, she'd smooth her dress and hold on tight to something fragile in her chest. A sailor's wife knows hope the best. Harbor lights and lullabies singing to the sailor's eyes. Come back home across the foam. The lantern's lit, you're not alone. Harbor lights and lullabies rocking underneath the skies. Every ship will find its way to the arms of the bay. To the arms of the bay. I've never sailed beyond the point. I've never felt a wave anoint my skin with salt from foreign seas. I've only known the harbor breeze, but I have loved the ones who go, and I have learned the tide is slow, and patience is the longest rope that ties a heart to its only hope. So I keep the lantern trimmed and bright and sing my songs into the night for every soul that's riding waves. The harbor lights, the harbor saves. Tonight the fog is thick as wool. The moon is just a silver pole behind the clouds that drift like ships across the sky in silent trips. I hum the tune my grandmother